A very warm welcome to my community. I'm Sherwood McCaskey. As always, I'm pleased that you have joined us. 40 years of culture, comedy, and commentary as we continue our journey through the remarkable story of Laff-it-Off. By now, Laff-it-Off has truly taken off, firmly establishing itself as a groundbreaking form of community theatre here in Barbados. This new tradition has taken root in the hearts of Barbadians, captivating audiences with its unique blend of comedy, culture, and social commentary. As expected, comparisons are being drawn between Laff-it-Off and other theatrical productions on the island. Yet, what sets Laff-it-Off apart is its ability to resonate with everyday experiences of its audiences, making it a production unlike any other. Perhaps most significantly, Laff-it-Off has found its place as a cherished part of the Barbadian celebration of Christmas, a time when families and friends come together to share joy and laughter. With this, it's clear that Laff-it-Off is no longer just a production. It's a cultural phenomenon woven into the festive fabric of Barbadian life. We begin by speaking of how Laff-it-Off continued to cement its legacy as a beloved institution here on our island.
Laff-it-Off was a phenomenon on that scene. I do remember having a conversation. Daphne Joseph Hackett came to one of the performances, and I think maybe one of the performances I was in, so not the first year or the second year, maybe she went in the first year, but I remember going down the steps of Queen's Park Theatre with Daphne, and Daphne said, Laff-it-Off has taken the place of Bimshire. Now, Bimshire was a Christmas show with fantastic singers. I mean, some of the quartets, like the 4 quartets were in that, and they performed in Combermere. And I do remember being taken as a wee child, must have been 7 or 8, to see Bimshire. I mean, Bimshire happened in the 60s into the 70s. But she spotted it. She says Laff-it-Off has taken the Christmas spot of Bimshire. I thanked her. I remembered it. I didn't have a clue what she meant, but I do now. So I do not know when Bimshire stopped and when Laff-it-Off began. That is some history that perhaps you can do as well as me. But then it really did. Laff-it-Off became the Christmas spot. We would start in November. There'd be full performances 4 times a week. All November, all December, into January, into February, sometimes into March. And then there was a moment there we moved from Queen's Park Theatre and then moved into the Steel Shed. We could fill the Steel Shed for 2 weekends. Having filled the theatre for the first 4 months of the, November, December, January, February, it was crazy. And looking at theatre now, you think, my goodness, that was a time we filled seats for 6 months. Audience populations were interested. There were December people that had to see Laff-it-Off when it started. And there were some people who said, we give you a little chance to iron out the kinks. We will come in January. Also, we were known, and we had several elections in those years. And I was talking to John Walker about it the other day. After so many years, when it came to September, we were taking note, almost like journalists. We're going to use this, we're going to use this, we're going to turn this into a joke, we turn this into a joke. Lord help any politician. Sometimes the audience can see what the jokes were, what did we make of this, yeah? I also was a director when Peter Allen came up with The Voice.
Vote for me. It was an election time, and as I said, everybody, tells certain things about them. Tom was saying, man, it'd be nice if we could get somebody to do me He starts rubbing down, oh, that would be sweet, that would be sweet. I didn't say a word, and yeah, boy, that would be real nice, man. Well, but who we could get to do that and so on and on. I said, well, first of all, I don't know if that person, the voice could last the whole run because she speaks very. All of a sudden, I dropped my voice, and Tom said, "You." I said, "Oh my goodness," But as I told you, people have tells. So that year, she was saying, I think it was a vote for me.
Ian Eswick and the producers used that as the advertisement on television. Peter going, a vote for me, and everybody coming to Laff-it-Off to see it.
I remember the night I had on her glasses because we went hunting around looking for glasses. And I had my hair at the time done like her hair. And the place erupted. And I moved up to the podium, and all of a sudden you hear the people in the audience going, shh, 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 shh. Because this is the first time we're doing it. So, nobody knows. Because people will come to the show, they tell everybody what happened. But nobody had seen it yet, because this is the first. So they were like, shh, 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 shh. And I went, a vote for, look. People pelt out of the auditorium. Pandemonium broke out.
A vote for me is a vote for hope. Not only am I young, I don't pull any punches. I am not afraid to fight for what I feel is right. And I intend to jump into any conversation where I feel the participants are misleading the public. And I will interrupt anybody I feel is pulling the wool over other people's eyes. I will ride the rhythm of any debate. Take over, take control, take charge. Take it from me. If you can't keep up with me, then this race is not for you. Right.
But what was crazier was, because I was director, I sat in the audience with the Governor General, the then Minister of Education and Culture, Minister Motley. Her mother was at the back, and so there's a long line. And when Peter came on and started, everybody just laughed as she did cross. She tapped me and said, I will make sure that I see every single Laff-it-Off script from now on. Because Minister Motley at the time was our lawyer for many years, and then stopped because she was going into politics, she couldn't be. But I do remember her laughing. I also remember the screaming from the back because Amor, her mom, was having fun. And apparently came several times to see it again. When this a joke for me, and the audience, because the minister was in the audience, everybody's looking down to see how is she reacting. And she laughed, but that was the genius of Peter Allen. She was able to find that voice.
And I remember I did tell her many, many years later, I said, if ever I offend, let me know and I'll stop. Because respect you, yeah? Because we've never, we've gone to the line, to the wire, but we've never disrespected, ever. And I always said, if ever I've offended you, let me know. I'll stop. Well, she even said to me once, listen, when I get tired, I could give you a call to do that. So she took it in her stride.
Peter Allen reflecting on how our current Prime Minister, Mia Amor-Motley, responded to her impersonation. Well, every dramatist understands the importance of dedicating sufficient time to preparation, rehearsal, and embodying the perfect character to deliver a compelling performance.
There were 3 parts of the show. Before the show, then we were backstage, getting ready, and we would talk and all that. And then rehearsal time was another show. The show, and before the show, we would always say a prayer. We would huddle, and we would say a prayer. And that was very important, right?
So when
you're backstage, you're preparing, one of the things you do is you have to build that character, because many times the person you're playing on stage, the character is distinctly different from who you are. So you have to prepare. So some of us prepare differently. Some of us, I know that there are people who go quiet. There's some who would pray. There's some who would eat. You know, different processes. But for me and the Laff-it-Off family, if I remember correctly, we started our characterization off stage. So by the time we reached the stage, we would be ready for presentation. And when you got there, you felt the energy of the people. So when we saw our audience, and when our audience responded to us, they feed us. We feed them and they feed us. And the energy is magnetic. So it really is a beautiful experience.
And then after the show, we go down by Captain Watson's bar, have a drink. Sometimes we end up going in Boxers Road, Big Star, eat some food. Because you have to come down, because when you are so highly charged, you got to come down. So then you go there with your stomach hurting, and from the time you go on stage, you become that character. And then when the show done, you have to stay backstage at least half hour to get back into John Walker again. Sounds a little strange, but and then you got to come down further. You go in the bar, and then you go somewhere and relax. And when you get home, you can't sleep. But one of the things that stood out, coming on to last night, when we start to prank each other.
Laff-it-Off was not a traditional player, so therefore you can take some risk, right?
So if you have something to drink, I advise you don't drink it, because especially if you are with some wicked people, they might spike it with real alcohol, or they might pepper whatever it is you're supposed to be eating or drinking. And that was the group that Laff-it-Off was.
The bar would literally start with real rum. Honestly start with real rum. I remember Mr. Eswick and Margarita, the stage manager, packed real rum. And then gradually, if you went to that bottle, those bottles were full of water, because the cast and crew would slowly but surely drink out this rum. So it would be lots of colored brown water. But then what they were supposed to serve, if you were drinking rum on stage, like Thompson was continuously drinking on stage. He was Lemuel was drunk, always drunk. It's that sometimes they will put real rum on stage, and on the last night, you can be guaranteed that if you had to drink anything, it was going to be super alcoholic. So all, 4 months, 5 months, you've drank water, and you pretended to be drunk. But on the last night, it's highly possible you were to be very, very drunk, because you have to drink this thing, and there'll be loads of rum.
The godly band, Smith Rest Saul, he was famous for, he said, look, Sherwood, man, look, we can mess up Sade tonight, man. We can do da-da-da-da-da-da. But you don't know that he planned with Sade at you too. So Randall used to, Randall was like a triple agent, right?
Over the years, the audiences learned to come to the show on the last night. Not for the show, but to see what pranks there were. All kinds of things would fall from the roof. I remember Peter Allen and John Walker. John was playing Sandyford, and Peter was playing Rosemary. And Rosemary would come on and powder Sandyford's face, and there would be lines, and people would laugh because they would figure out this is Sandyford and this is Rosemary. And she would leave, and then he would deliver the line. Unfortunately, our former Prime Minister talked about this ship of state is ready for takeoff. And you don't say those things around Laff-it-Off. And you don't say those things around John Walker. Because John Walker then made it a whole moment. But the last night, Peter came on with the powder, but unbeknownst to John and us, we didn't know, the powder puff was completely filled with white powder. Poof, poof. White powder was everywhere. John couldn't deliver a line because he's completely covered in white powder. We're on stage practically laughing our heads off because it was so funny. But he still got the ship of state is ready for takeoff, but it was one of the funniest moments ever. So on the last night, we would play pranks on each other. That was another thing that we were. And the thing is, the show would still go on. We would still deliver the lines. It is the process of delivering it, and you would see something, to do something here, to do something here, to do something here, you know?
The very last night, you don't know what is going to happen, right? You come on stage and people look at you smiling, and then there were times when we had to open a script and read something, and then when you think that is something, it is something else, right? It helps you as the actor in space to have the discipline. You see that's not what's there, but then you still perform what you're supposed to perform. And some of the audience over time will know. They know that, okay, this is next, you can see some pranks going on, right?
Dr. Marcia Burrows, who played the part of Nucina, shares insights into her experiences as director of Laff-it-Off, shedding light on what it's like to work within this iconic production.
I took time from Laff-it-Off, and I went and did my master's for a year, and I came back, and to my surprise, I was reoffered my spot on Laff-it-Off. So I was here for 2 years before I went to do my PhD. And in those 2 years, I was invited to direct Laff-it-Off. And I know that I wrote in my notes that it's like working in a zoo. Being on that side of the stage was interesting because there was so much creativity.
We looked at the national issues, the regional issues, international issues, and we brought it to the people, but we brought it in a way that they could see and they could laugh. It was a perspective, it was a way that allowed people to have fun, yet face the reality of whatever it is we were presenting.
And it was based on perhaps a style called commedia dell'arte, where satire became the through line of Laff-it-Off's production, where a comic look is taken at what is happening in society. And obviously the politics became perhaps the hallmark.
When Tom Adams died, many of us happened to be listening to the call-in program. And I remember this woman called in. And when she called in to say, we didn't know that she was not a fan of Tom Adams. But she called in and she said, you know, I'm calling here because I really want to say that, you know, I heard that he died. And I really, really want to tell you from the bottom of my heart that I'm sorry they didn't dead ever since. And I mean, it was a sad, but look, I laughed. I never stopped laughing. And so we took that and brought it as part and parcel of the Laff-it-Off production that year. And every time, people fell on the floor. I mean, it was amazing. So there were issues, very serious issues, that we took to the stage and people responded to it.
One of our most loved moments, loved by the cast and I think the audience, is something called Criminals Against Crime.
One evening, and I say evening because we would have started high bright daylight rehearsal. We used to rehearse in his stables at Queen's Park. It was a long day. We were tired. And Tom said, okay, let's leave. And he rubs his hands. You know that he's happy with what he's got. But let's go home, let's rest. So we go outside to go to our various cars. And the stage manager hollers out and we're like, wait, Margarita, what happened? Her car had been broken into. Me in Queen's Park, don't forget. I'm like, oh my goodness, call the police. Somebody said, call the police. And I'm like, Mom, what one is gonna do that? I wanna know how hard we've worked. I'm gonna come out here and know. Because we all immediately started just talking foolishness. I said, I'm going to come out here so no one hold up on me and I'm going to see my children now. They're going to grab me and feel that. And Tom in the doorway just watching us, yes? And it was Foo. Then Foo said, Ma, she right, you know, Ma, she right. And now, take me off my beat now for 2 weeks, man. I ain't even belong to NIS. I ain't going to get no national insurance. Listen. We were cracking up at the foolishness that was coming out of our mouths. All of a sudden we hear, hey, back inside. Wait, what? back inside, and all the crap that we'd been talking about, my life for hard, for a criminal in Barbados, blah, 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 became one of our audience favorites, called Criminals Against Crime. From the man Marty Brecky had trying to break in a woman's house. He did lay up in the Queen Elizabeth Hospital for 3 months. He ain't get nothing from National Insurance. It did terrible.
I just got from visiting Garfield. He up in hospital. He in there with a stroke. What? You know, it's the last thing that sent he off. He done try and break in the car and shirt and wrote on my tag. He soaked his car. And my boy moved up close to the window. All of a sudden, he hears step away from the car.
So what, he get killed?
No. He looked both right, but he ain't seen nobody. So he moved back up to the window. And all of a sudden, he hear, I will alarm if you don't.
So what, it did a duppy?
And what? They did the car. And then one of them newfangled alarm system things. Next thing you know, Garfield 2 eyes roll up in the back of his head. And he cock up his shirt and car back with a straw. Now he in hospital and the police there waiting for you to get better so they can lock you up. Terrible, man.
That became Criminals Against Crime. Tony played an elderly criminal who was accustomed breaking in through the backyard and then back door. And apparently he stuck to the rusty nail. So his protest was, pray keep your yard clean. You can't expect me to be stepping on a rusty nail and then you get tetanus.
Wait till the hospital with tetanus, man.
He got tetanus.
Well, it's the same thing, right? Man is stepping over pale lane and step on piece of rusty galvanized. How many people should have clean, galvanized, new galvanized on the place? Keep on the place clean, man. Only man got the tetanus on.
Then they'll have the story about he went to teeth, go on the back of the house, step in a cesspool and mosquitoes bite me and give me dengue. They should have a law against that. The law against, they should clean around the place and make sure that we don't get dengue. He would call it dengue.
Marty stepped in a pool of water the other night in a woman's backyard. And as you see the mosquitoes that fly up and bite the man, now he won't sit with the dengue. And he ain't gonna be able to take for weeks. Because it's too nasty, man.
Sean's complaint was that the televisions were getting bigger. He was a burglar who used to steal televisions. But these things getting so big now, it's not easy.
That reminds me, right? Remember years ago, right? A man was seeing a window half open, right? Man was just, he's inside the house. Carry a few small things, no? Little jewelry, bit of sweet bread, and a small TV. I'm all right. But nowadays, people got big surround sound system. 92-inch TV! Man try to lift up that to TV. Hard back. This TV thing becoming a health hazard, man.
John said, y'all trying to break my back. All I try to do is steal the television and the real thing. I was a cat burglar. And I was very much into my cat burglar outfit, but I bought a pair of new sneakers. Not knowing that as I climb up the wall, my sneakers have these lights in them and you can see me blinking. So I get caught because you can see me. Everybody can see me trying to break into the house. Check what happened to the other day. My nephew sent me a pair of them brand name brass sneakers, right? Climb the walls with them thing at night, right?
Correct.
and I did climb in this wall. The idiot ain't tell me that he says he's got these pretty flashing lights. Next thing you know, I get hold.
Thompson was a stupid burglar. Thompson decided he can go at night, crawl in to this place and steal. And he succeeded, he got in. And so everybody said, what was your problem? He broke into Oyston's police station.
Another thing too, you know, you will have a weapon or sign so, but you just carry long and carry out there, you know, to hurt nobody, you just have it, you know.
Secure, man.
Make sure I have a guy the other day, right? Check this. I guess I step up there Archall is in there, right?
They ain't got no Archall, they say now.
Man, you was an Archall St. Thomas, man.
Listen, I don't rightfully care, I was lost, right? When I recognized where I was, I knew I was in Oyston, right? So I started this place in Oyston now. I could jar the spot now, and I started up a fridge, right? I hiked at the place having a little bed there, so on a Playboy magazine. So I step into the room now, help myself to sign on the fridge, lie down by the cotton thing, you know what I mean? And you know Playboy just have some very interesting articles, right? So I sit down, you know, and the next thing I know, I browsing through the article, and I doze off, right? When I open my eyes now, I sight this man smiling down at me like if he's Goldilocks. And then I look around the room and see about 10 to 12 fully dressed police officers.
Hey, man. So where you was?
I break in Oyston police station.
Every week we would add more. I remember Mr. S would come and say, tonight it was too long. But we were having fun. We enjoy Criminals Against Crime. The audience enjoyed Criminals Against Crime. And it was long, it was long, it was long.
That's how scenes are created from life. So people literally, when they came to Laff-it-Off, saw themselves.
To me, it was intelligent theater because you had to understand the underlying meanings. And as the show concludes by saying, you know, we're going to laugh it off. Whatever happened, you know, we will laugh it off.
And that is exactly what Barbadians have been doing for the last 40 years, enjoying Laff-it-Off. 40 years of culture, comedy, and commentary. I'm Sherwood McCaskey. This has been My Community. As we always say here, please do take good care of yourself and look out for the interests of your neighbours.